Hey everyone, it's Shipra.
And it's Shivam, and this time we're in Austin. We're only here for a very short period of time. We actually just came for a long weekend to actually go to one of Shipra's oldest friends' wedding. So we checked out the wedding of Surya and Ruhi. We had a really fun time with all the events. They did a really good job. Yeah, it was just amazing to see them get married. So since we were here for a wedding, most of our weekend was actually dedicated to that, and we only have a few hours before our flight back home. So the first place we've come to check out is the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. It's actually a pretty expansive area showcasing a lot of Texas's natural flora. So hopefully we can see some interesting plants along the way.
So I really like the serenity of the garden. It's a really peaceful place to walk around and enjoy nature. I think unfortunately we missed the peak wildflower season. So peak wildflower season in Texas is usually between the months of March and May, where there's the most amount of rain. And I think it doesn't really rain as much, so it seems like everything is pretty dried out now.
So I think I found my favorite plant, which is this one right here, which looks like a bunch of pineapples, but it seems to be a real draw for the bees. And the bees here are like double the size of bees we normally see in California, which is both cool and a little bit scary. So we're now just wrapping up at the Wildflower Center. It was actually quite a peaceful place. There's a lot of good places to be able to take some nice photos or come out for a good picnic. Overall, it was quite enjoyable. A lot of overlap I felt in terms of the flowers that are here as well as California, which I think is to be expected. If you go to inland California, it's definitely very desert-like, which is very similar to the climate here in Texas. The next stop on our very short trip here in Austin is to Zilker Metropolitan Park. This is a park right here in the heart of downtown with the Colorado River running right next to the city. It's a nice, peaceful place to go running or canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, even tubing I've seen. So hopefully we can go check out some of the areas around here. There's actually one natural pool as well. So there's some spring water that keeps that pool area a consistent temperature all around the year. So it's a really popular place to swim.
I don't think I'm holding this correctly. I don't think I've ever been on a kayak before.
We went at Banff.
Oh, I thought that was a canoe.
No, it was a kayak, I think.
This water is pretty shallow.
Yeah, it's nice. It actually feels a bit cooler on the water too.
This is not nearly as bumpy as what Banff was, remember?
Yeah, because Banff was windy. Yeah. There's like no wind here. The water's actually pretty clear other than like this like moss in there.
Moss, yeah. I feel like you could just do nothing here and just float around.
I get to nicely relax in the back of this kayak while Shipra does all the work. She's paddling away. We're moving at a solid...
Seems like a trend of our life.
Yeah, we're moving at a solid 1.5 miles an hour. Oh wow, there's people tight roping across the water. That's pretty crazy. I think it's gonna jump off though.
It's a nice day out in Austin. It's hot, but I think it's cool here. It's a good way to cool off in the city.
Did you have an enjoyable time on the kayak?
Yeah, it was less hot than the other place we went to.
Although I wasn't pulling my weight, was I?
No, you weren't.
Every time we were coming close to someone, Shipra would start getting like worried that we're gonna hit them.
No, I specifically said we're on a collision course.
And then I would kick into action at the last second.
No, we bumped into so many people because of you.
Well, part of it was the other people in the water did not know how to navigate their own boats.
Then a kid came in front of me and he was like, "Watch out!" And I was like, "Dude, I can't watch out. You got to move out of the way. I can't move this thing as fast as you could move your body."
Yeah. It was nice. I think the water is pretty clean. I didn't even know the Colorado River runs through Texas until today, right? I thought it always just went south to like Arizona through the Grand Canyon and stuff. Yeah.
Well, then you better study up your geography.
Like you knew that. But it was a nice experience. I would come again for longer. I think we were basically out there for 35 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, now we have to head over to the capital. Austin actually kind of really reminds me of Atlanta, where I'll be in Atlanta in 2 days actually for work. It reminds me of like the Beltline in Atlanta and Piedmont Park. It's really similar where there's water and then you can see kind of like the cityscape in the background. We actually went there and Shivam loved it.
I think overall, Austin downtown seems pretty nice. It's very quiet, a lot of like people being very athletic, running around and, kayaking, canoeing, that sort of thing. And, it's pretty clean too. There's lots of park space, which I enjoy. Open space is really nice. Shipra was just telling me about how she likes the open space that's here in Texas.
That's what I don't like about California, is that there's no open space anywhere unless you drive like 2 hours.
Yeah, our parks are relatively small in California for sure.
Yeah.
These parks are pretty expansive. So the space aspect is nice.
But even if I lived here, I don't know how often I would come to these parks.
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
true.
Scorching outside.
Yeah, we would, and we'd also probably live in the suburbs, and I don't think there was as much of a park scene in the suburbs.
Yeah. The suburbs were a little bit more just open space, but not a lot of development, mostly just like housing.
Yeah, but overall, it's a nice place. I would compare it to, say, in Atlanta very closely, like Shipra said.
Yeah.
Columbus, in a sense, I would say like it's a more spread out version of Columbus, maybe a little bit less developed.
Less developed in the suburbs, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice place.
Yeah.
So our last stop here in Austin in this very, very short trip is the Texas Capitol building right behind me. Now, the Capitol building is undoubtedly very controversial these days because of what's happening inside from the lawmaking perspective. But one thing that is not controversial is the architecture of this building. It's really very interesting. It's very reminiscent of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., except it's got that nice, almost desert color that's indicative of Texas. So our last stop on this Austin trip is to a place called Velvet Taco. We're actually here in the Domain, which is some sort of really interesting shopping area, kind of like Santana Row.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice apartments. Shipper wants to live here, except it's super hot. The tacos are supposed to be kind of global. So we got some paneer tacos, tofu tacos. What else did we get?
Tater tots with eggs on it.
Interesting.
That's for Shivam, that's not for me.
That sounds like a Texas specialty.
Yes.
But I'm excited to try it. We are still in a rush though, because we have to go back to the hotel to pick up our suitcases before heading to the airport, because there's a lot of break-ins in the areas that we were in today. So we kind of felt it was safer to just leave our stuff there. So despite Shipra's lack of enthusiasm, I actually liked those tacos a lot. I thought they were pretty good. I'd go again.
They were just a little too spicy for me, but it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah, I thought they were unique. It was a good bit of a sprint here in Austin towards the end. It was an overall really fun weekend. Thanks again to Surya and Ruhi for inviting us to their wedding.
Yeah, it was
we had
a
lot
fun
of
time.
fun,
Yeah.
a lot of dancing, met some nice people as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And ate some good food.
Yeah.
Now it is time for us to run back to the airport with all of our stuff.
Yeah.
So till the next one, bye.
Bye.